Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Oxhorn, and let me ask you a question. Do you think mods are cheating? As I say in every single video I publish, I read all of your comments, and one vein of reasoning that I find in many comments is from people who don't like it when they see elements in my game that come from mods. Usually unique hats, unique glasses, unique costumes, and while many people don't mind and in fact ask me where I get these mods, I do get a lot of pushback on some of the mods I use in the game, especially when I'm making lore videos. Many will say, well, if you're going to be making a lore video, then you shouldn't be using any mods in your footage. I do agree that you can cheat with mods. There are, of course, plenty of mods out there that allow you to straight up cheat in the game. Give yourself infinite ammo, give yourself overpowered weapons, but of course you don't need mods to cheat. Anyone playing this game on a PC can cheat at any time without mods simply by running a few console commands. They can give themselves all the ammunition in the world that they want. They can make their character level 50 right out of Vault 111. They can toggle God mode and make themselves invincible. You don't need mods to cheat. There are many kinds of players, and there's no wrong kind of player. But there are those who cheat and those who do not cheat. And yet I think that it's possible to be somebody who enjoys and uses mods who doesn't cheat. Cheating is very different from altering the look and feel of your game. Cheating gives you an upper hand. It gives you extra power that the developers did not envision with their game. There are many mods that don't do that at all. For example, I have a mod installed that puts the Minuteman logo on the Minuteman hat. Yes, that is a mod, but it's not really cheating. All I'm doing is putting the Minuteman logo on a Minuteman hat. There's another mod that I use that gives me better looking patrolman sunglasses. The patrolman sunglasses that come in the game are pretty ugly. The sunglasses from the mod have the exact same stats as the patrolman sunglasses, they just look better. So are those two mods cheating? I don't think so. I think a lot of the pushback that I get is from people who are too concerned with the purity of the game. These are people who think that the game as presented to us by Bethesda needs to kind of exist in its own little ecosystem that isn't really touched by the creativity of other people. We only get what Bethesda gave us. We only find what's originally in the game. Anything outside of that is somehow wrong, it's somehow abusive towards Fallout 4, and it's somehow cheating. And I want to challenge that mindset right now, if I may. Because Bethesda and Obsidian and other developers of the Fallout franchise before have given us a living, breathing, thriving fictional world with limitless potential, with a lot of lore, and they have ignited the spark of creativity in thousands of people all over the world. One of the wonderful things about Fallout 4 and the modding scene in general is that it's an outlet for creative people to make their game their own. And it also brings things to the Fallout 4 universe that Bethesda might have put in the game had they had the time. You have to remember that Bethesda is a company of hundreds of people, if that, working on a number of different titles, not just Fallout 4, and they've got deadlines to meet. If they had unlimited time, and if they didn't have to make money off of this game, and if all they had to do was sit down and be as creative as they possibly could, the game itself would be bigger, and there would be more in it. Instead of doing that, they open up the game to be modded. Players, then, take up that role. Players have the ability to expand on the universe a bit. Now, for my game, I'm still interested in it being lore-friendly. There are people who go out and make entire stormtrooper sets of armor, and that's very interesting and it's very creative, but I don't use mods like that because it's not lore-friendly. I don't think it's cheating to do that, especially if the stormtrooper armor doesn't have any better stats than, say, a full suit of combat armor. If all you're doing is altering the look of the armor, you're not cheating, you're just changing the visual appearance. But I still wouldn't use a mod like that because it breaks the lore of the game, it breaks the look and feel of the game. The Fallout universe has a distinct look and feel, and I really like that about the Fallout universe. It would ruin the game for me if I were to use mods that were to break that. Of course, there are lots of people who don't think that way about the game, and they're not wrong. This is not a right and wrong issue. We have to remember that. This is a game that you paid money for, and you can play this game any way you want, even if you want to cheat. And I'm not going to judge you for that. If you want to make your character invincible just so that you can see the pretty sights and listen to the stories, there's nothing wrong with that. And you shouldn't allow anyone to bully you or to shame you into thinking that somehow you're playing the game that you paid for wrong. And anyone who does that is trying to rob joy from another human being, and that's messed up. In my opinion, the only time cheating is really wrong is when you're cheating in a multiplayer environment, because then the cheater is actually robbing joy from other people. When you log into a multiplayer game, you're agreeing to a set of limits, you're agreeing to a staged scenario that the developers have created, and they said, great, log into this game, play in this world, but stay within the bounds we've created for you so that everybody has the same level playing field. Anytime somebody uses a mod or uses a cheat to one-up somebody else in a multiplayer environment, that I do think is wrong, because it's ruining another player's gaming experience. It's ruining the integrity of that multiplayer gaming environment. It makes people not want to play the game. It makes those mods necessary to play in a competitive environment, and it changes the way the game functions. That's why developers have to work really hard to keep cheaters off of their multiplayer platforms. But Fallout 4 is not that kind of game. Fallout 4 is a single-player game. It's a huge universe, it's an expansive world that only one person, you the player, has to enjoy. Now for me, cheating ruins the fun for me. I do enjoy the challenge of crawling out of the cryopod in Vault 111 at level 1 with nothing but my bare hands until I find the 10mm pistol in the Overseer's room, and then crawling my way through the landscape trying to build a character, trying to make decisions. That struggle early in the game until you get your first set of power armor, and then that struggle until you finally get your suit of XO1 power armor, that is a lot of fun for me. The challenge is a lot more fun than using console commands to just generate anything I want. If someone were to force me to cheat in order to play the game, that would be wrong, because they would be robbing me of my joy. They would be taking away the fun of the game for me. But the flip side to that is true as well. If I were to tell people that they are filthy, horrible, immoral cheaters for cheating in a single-player video game like Fallout 4 or Skyrim, I mean, who am I to say that to another person? Who am I to judge the way they play their game? If that makes them happy, they paid money for it, they can do it if they want. Back to modding. I hope that players can adopt the same sort of personal respect for each other when it comes to the modding scene as well. Sure, there are a bunch of cheat mods out there, and sure, there are a bunch of gross mods out there, but the vast majority of mods for Fallout 4 are not cheats, they're simply cosmetic, they're lore friendly, they're not gross, and they simply allow other players to enjoy their world a little bit more. Also remember that Bethesda is notorious for leaving huge glaring bugs in their games, and some mods, like the unofficial Fallout 4 patch, fix the game so that it's playable for many people. Fix major plot quest lines that otherwise would ruin the game for them. To say that all mods are cheating is to say that that mod is cheating as well. A mod that actually allows somebody to play the game as Bethesda intended. Now, I noticed a lot more of this back before consoles had mods. When it was PC only, a great percentage of the comments I got on my settlement builds were from console players who were angry that I had mods in my game. Funny thing is, once mods got on the Xbox players kind of went silent. And it was really the PS4 players that were complaining a lot about mods in my game. But then the PS4 players got mods and it's died down a lot. I still get people, particularly PS4 players who don't have external assets in their mods, who are really angry when they see mods in my game. And I think that a lot of this is just evidence of envy. And I'm not saying that everyone who plays on consoles is envious of PC gamers. I'm not saying that. And I'm definitely not saying that the PC version is the best version, or that console players are peasants and PC master race and all of that. No, I'm not getting into all of that. But I do think a lot of what we see is envy from console players who don't have access to some of the mods that PC players do, and so they vent on YouTube. And that is just a manifestation of a character weakness. If I can't have it, you can't have it either. And that's not healthy. That doesn't make us better people. And I encourage players to get over that, to try to embrace some mutual respect for other players, for the way that other players choose to play their game, without judging them, just like PC players shouldn't judge console players who don't use mods shouldn't judge PC players. I went deeper into this in my video on my personal mod philosophy, so if you're interested in the kinds of specific mods that I prefer to install in my game, check out that video. But in this video, I wanted to clarify why mods are not necessarily cheating. If you see another person using a mod in his game, it's presumptuous to assume that that person is cheating. There are a wide range of mods that do many different things in Fallout 4 without changing the game's fundamental mechanics, and that's the key. If you're installing a mod that doesn't change the fundamental mechanics of the game, then that's not a cheat. You're not altering the way the game works. You're simply enhancing the game to make the world more believable to you. Or if not that, the game more enjoyable for you. And as human beings who are all gamers, we're all part of this gaming community, I think it's important that we respect each other and the decisions we make to either use mods or not, to either cheat or not. If you're interested to find out what mods I use, I keep a document, which I link to in the description of this video, that has every single mod that I use. The vast majority of them are not cheats, they're mainly cosmetic changes. They'll add decorations to settlements. They add costumes for NPCs. They improve the user interface. Those are the kind of mods that I enjoy. And if you're interested, I link to them in the description. But where do you fall on the whole "are mods cheating" argument? Do you think all mods are cheating regardless of what they are? Are you concerned with the purity of the game? Do you think that people who play without mods are somehow morally or ethically superior? And do you find virtue in playing a game the way that a bunch of developers intended it to be played? If so, let me know in the comments below. I read all of the comments you guys leave on my videos, and I use them as inspiration for my future videos. If you like this video, please subscribe for more Fallout 4 content and Fallout 4 modding content. And if you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers gain access to my private Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, I am just so glad that you're here watching this video today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a brand new video.